A very good morning to you. Yes, it's me, Bernice Abubedu. This is still the AM show, and it's just about 2 minutes to 7:30. This morning, we'll be live from the office of the Member of Parliament for Dodododio constituency, Nilante Vanderpoy. We'll be doing a review of the year with him, and Roland will just bring us that shortly. We'll talk about governance and also talk about personal issues. And obviously, you should expect us to talk about this video that's gone viral of a young girl who's allegedly been gang raped. And we know that the police have arrested 3 people. They're on a manhunt for 7 others. We'll be bringing you some live updates from the community where this is said to have happened, Bantama in Kumasi. And there's a lot more. We'll be talking about some endangered species that has been found in the Etiwa forest here in Ghana. And that's good news. But the unfortunate incident or the unfortunate angle to that is that, well, we're hearing that government wants to mine in that particular forest. But a group, Rocha Ghana, is calling on government and other stakeholders to turn that forest into a national park, just like Kakuma and Moli, because the forest has what it takes to rake in some money for the country. We'll be doing all that here on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abubedu. I'll be here, and Roland will be coming to us live from Parliament. We'll bring you that shortly. Meanwhile, the National Anti-Galamsey Taskforce, Operation Vanguard, says bribery allegations against the force are a smear campaign by people who are bent on perpetuating illegal mining in the country. Incoming Commander Colonel Michael Amoa AEC has backed his predecessor to dismiss such claims. He takes over from Colonel William Ejapong, who earlier last week rubbished allegations that personnel of the task force have been compromised in their work. Nana Sensu witnessed the handing over ceremony at the operations headquarters in Obuasi.
Colonel Amwaisi said detractors are concocting stories to dent the image of the task force just to have their way. Recent media reports suggest personnel of Operation Vanguard accept bribes from local artisans, especially in the eastern region where illegal miners have invaded forest reserves and are destroying rivers. Colonel Amwaisi said much as the leadership will not hold brief for offended personnel, attempt to discredit the work will not be allowed to derail efforts of the task force. He was speaking at a handing over ceremony at the task force operations headquarters at Obuasi in the Ashanti region.
All these rumors and all these free maps and those things will die off if they don't buy into it. But if they give currency to it, then it is sort of hamper the good relationship between us and the locals, because locals might buy into those falsehoods, but they are not proven. And there's no iota of truth as at now, since we started this operation, that people have been compromised in the way people are seeking to make us believe. And so we call the general public to not to buy into those allegations and see them as part of the maneuvers of those directly benefiting from the illegal mining to discredit Operation Vanguard, so that our activities can be undermined and then they will get freedom of action. But they should look at the bigger picture of the effect of what they are doing on the nation and its future. And let us all, it's better to swallow the bitter pill now than later. It might be too late. And there's nobody coming to do it for us except ourselves.
Colonel Amwaisi calls on stakeholders, especially locals in operational areas, to volunteer information on activities of defiant saboteurs to appropriate authorities for action to save the environment.
Of them, or what we expect from them is volunteering of information and then leaving the rest to us to do, because we have been trained and we have the capacity to do it. You know that we do exercises like jungle navigation, like on Tiger's Path and others. So we know how to navigate, and this is Ghana. Once we have the GPS, we have the maps, and we have other things, the local knowledge will come in handy to support the information we have, but we'll be able to navigate our way through. So what we need is information from the general public, but physically taking part of us, that will be detrimental to the success of the operation, should anything happen to any such individual.
Meanwhile, the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces finds the allegations against the task force personnel worrying. Brigadier General C.B. Al-Hassan is General Officer Commanding.
There have been a number of allegations floating around about some of us here getting involved in the same thing that we are supposed to be fighting. If any of you is part of that negative practice, I'm asking you to stop it and stop it now. Because we would not like to hear that somebody who is on this task force has been involved in some illegal mining or has been involved in collecting monies from certain people who are involved in illegal mining or doing any negative thing such as that. So if you are one, please put a stop to it now.
Nana Sensumensa reporting for JoyNews.
Nana Sensumensa with that report from Obuasi in the Ashanti region. Let's stay in the Ashanti region and head now to Kumasi. We're going to be speaking to the Ashanti Regional Police Command PRO ASP Julian Obeng on this video that has gone viral, the alleged gang rape. And she joins us on the line now. Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for joining us here on the AM show.
Good morning, my dear.
Right, so as of yesterday, we heard that some 3 young men had been arrested, and the police say you're still on a manhunt for some 4 others. What's the latest with that?
Well, it still says that I think that if you monitored events yesterday, we did initially condemn the act and followed up by saying that 3 out of the 7 suspects had been arrested, and the victim was going to some psychological counseling with the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit here in Kumasi. As of this morning, there hasn't been any addition. We just keep on to say that we advise those who are circulating the video and then those that are in possession of it to desist from the actions that is an offense. So we still keep up to what we have said. There hasn't been any new addition. But the assurance is that the other 4 who presently are on the run would be arrested.
But we hear this young lady at the center of it all is in your care and receiving some counseling. What's the latest with her too?
Well, that's true. She's been with us since yesterday. Rightly put, going through some psychological counseling after she had visited the doctors with the medical form. We are trying very hard to make her understand the need for her to move on and go through the session. And then hopefully when the report is out from the hospital, we'll get to know exactly what we need to do for her medically after that. But for now, yes, she is with us going to some counseling session.
All right, just a quick one here. We know that 3 of the suspects who've been arrested, you said earlier that they were junior high school students, 2 of them, and 1 was in senior high school. This young lady we are talking about, is she also within that same range in terms of education? Is she also a junior high school student?
Well, I did mention yesterday that this is a victim who's gone through some serious trauma, who is going through serious trauma. And so for us now, the concentration is to make her a bit stable. When I say stable, to make her reading up with us so we could talk to her a bit later. So yes, we have her in our custody, but we haven't spoken to her yet. We will do that when we've realized or when we've seen that, okay, she's able to respond to our question.
So what are these young men who've been picked up, what are they being charged with?
They haven't been charged. I mentioned yesterday in my statement that these 3 young men or these 3 suspects or students have not been charged yet. Would wait for investigation to be over so we could prefer the appropriate charges against them.
Yeah, exactly why I'm asking, just to know if there's been any update today. But just a quick one. If you get onto social media, a lot of people are wondering, with this particular case, this young girl didn't make a complaint, did she?
She has made a complaint.
Okay, and did she make the complaint after the police took over the matter or before you went in to arrest these suspects?
Well, she has made a complaint. I think we'd have to leave it there. You do not want to alter investigations and the DMs, whatever is going to come out of this. So let's leave it there. She's not the only person who's made complaints. We have a unit committee member in that area, Bantama, who's also come up to make a complaint. And so let's work with this for now.
Okay, now let's talk about those who are circulating this video on social media. We've had time without number. The police talk about that being a crime and also send out some stern warnings. But really, we haven't seen any action in terms of arrests being made. So how is the police going to, go about this? We always hear you say, don't share the videos, don't circulate it. We're going to come after you. But really, we don't hear or see anything like that.
Well, it's unfortunate you haven't seen or heard anything like that. But even at that, it doesn't make it something that's not crime. It still remains criminal. And so we still go on to say that whoever circulates or is in possession of this video and still circulating it, it is just from that act. We will make arrests when we get the opportunity to do that. But I think that it's an attitudinal thing that we all need to come together. If you know it's a crime and you need to stop it, come on. If it was your sister or if it was yourself, would you have allowed it to go viral like it is going now, apart from it being criminal? So it's something that we all need to come together and do understand that, look, whatever it is that we are doing, if it is done on you first, you would not appreciate. So let's just stop it, apart from it being criminal. But like I said, yes, the warning has gone out there several times. The fact that we probably haven't arrested anybody doesn't mean that whatever is going on is not criminal. It's just against the crimes in the country. So it is something that we should stop.
Well, finally, before you go, some time ago, we had a very prominent figure in this country. Her son was said to have been involved in a sex video. What we saw was that the police, or we don't know who did it, but the video was blocked at source, so it was very difficult for anybody to share it, even if you had it. Is the police considering doing that with this particular video?
Yes.
Okay, so we expect that even if people have it, they shouldn't be able to share it.
That's the expectation.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Hopefully, we'll get back to you in the day for some updates on this rather unfortunate incident that occurred in Bantama. And we were just speaking to ASP Juliana Obeng, and she is the PRO for the Ashanti Regional Police Command. We'll be bringing you more on this, especially visiting the community where this happened. And maybe get your views on social media on this. We've been seeing this time without number, especially this year. Is it time we had a conversation around this and protecting people who are publicly shamed in videos like this? We'll take a quick breather. When I come back, we'll be having more. Please stay.